Everybody remembers Pain as the man who nuked the Hidden Leaf Village, the man who killed Jiraiya, the man everyone called a monster. But I don't think that's the scariest part of his story. I think the scariest part is that Pain wasn't insane. He knew exactly what he was doing. And that raises a much bigger question. How do you convince someone like that to change? To answer that, you have to become him. Imagine you're just a little boy growing up in the Hidden Rain Village. You don't know politics. You don't know who's right or wrong. All you know is that every morning you wake up wondering, is today the day my family dies? Rain falls almost every day, not the kind of rain children enjoy playing in. Cold rain, heavy rain, the kind that turns the roads into mud and carries the smell of smoke from another village that burned during the night. Honestly, if the sun lived here, it would probably pack its bags and leave. You step outside your home. The streets are empty. No children laughing, no one playing, only broken buildings, hungry faces, and people trying to survive another day. Then another explosion echoes across the village. The ground shakes beneath your feet. You freeze. Strangely, nobody else does. That's when you realize something horrifying. The people here have seen war so many times that they've stopped reacting to it. Imagine living somewhere so dangerous that explosions become background noise. You slowly walk back inside your home. Your mother prepares the little food your family has left while your father forces a smile onto his face. Not because everything is okay, but because that's what parents do. Sometimes they smile, so their children don't have to carry their fear. Then, someone starts banging on the door. Once, twice, harder. Your mother's face changes instantly. Your father immediately steps in front of both of you. He doesn't say a word. He already knows who's outside. The door bursts open. Enemy shinobi rush into your home. Everything happens too fast. Steel clashes. People scream. Your parents throw themselves in front of you. Then, silence. You look up. Your parents are lying on the floor. You keep waiting for them to move. They don't. And just like that, your childhood ends. That has to be one of the worst ways to meet adulthood. You're left alone, hungry, scared, homeless. That was young Nagato. Yes, the same Nagato who would later become the man the world would know as Pain. But here's the strange part. This wasn't the moment he became a monster. It was the moment he started looking for hope. Then you meet two other children, Yako and Konan. Just like you, they've lost everything. Together, the three of you become a family. For the first time in years, life actually starts feeling normal again. You laugh together, you eat together, you dream together. More importantly, you're finally surrounded by people who understand exactly what you've been through. Then someone else enters your life. Jiraiya, he teaches you ninjutsu. But more importantly, he teaches you something you've never heard before. Peace is possible. Imagine hearing those words after spending your entire childhood surrounded by war. For the first time, you genuinely believe the world can change. Years pass. The three friends grow older. Together they create the Akatsuki. Not to destroy the world, not to spread fear, but to stop wars and protect innocent people. That's what most people don't know. The Akatsuki wasn't born from hatred, it was born from hope. And that's exactly what made what happened next so devastating. Then everything falls apart. Hanzo, working together with Danzo from the Hidden Leaf, invites the Akatsuki to what appears to be a peace negotiation. But there was never going to be any peace. From the very beginning, it was a trap. Imagine you're Nagato again. Rain pours endlessly from the sky. Your clothes are soaked, water runs down your face, and the cold bites into your skin. In front of you stands Hanzo, surrounded by dozens of soldiers. Beside him is Konan, tied up with a blade pressed against her neck. Then Hanzo speaks. "Kill Yahiko, or Konan dies." Your heart starts racing. You look at Yahiko, then you look at Konan. There has to be another way. There has to be. You tighten your grip around the kunai in your hand, but your body refuses to move. How do you choose which member of your family deserves to die? That's not a choice. That's torture. Then Yahiko smiles. Not because he's happy, because he's already made his decision. Without saying a word, he slowly walks toward you. You shake your head, silently begging him to stop. He keeps walking, until he throws himself onto your kunai. Everything goes silent. You catch him before he hits the ground. He's dying in your arms. The same person who spent years convincing you that peace was possible is gone. Just like your parents, again, the person you loved most, dies right in front of your eyes. At that moment, something inside you finally breaks. Not your body, not your heart, your belief, the belief that people could ever truly understand each other. That was the day Nagato disappeared, and pain was born. From that day forward, Nagato stopped believing in hope. Not because he lost his mind, but because he reached a conclusion. If pain created this world, then pain is the only thing capable of changing it. Think about that. Pain wasn't some traumatized child running around destroying everything because he couldn't control his emotions. No, everything he did was intentional. Every village he attacked, every person he killed, every life he destroyed, every decision he made, it was all calculated. He wanted the world to experience the same suffering he had carried his entire life. In his mind, if every nation experienced unbearable pain, then maybe, just maybe, they would finally stop creating war. That's what made him terrifying. Not because he was crazy, because he believed he was right. Some people get hurt and lose control. They scream, they break things, they lash out at everyone around them. Pain wasn't one of those people. He became quiet. He thought. He planned. Then he executed that plan. Personally, I think those people are far more dangerous, because when someone quietly plans your downfall instead of shouting about it, you rarely see it coming until it's already happening. Then pain arrives at the hidden leaf. He doesn't charge in blinded by rage. He doesn't attack randomly. He systematically tears the village apart as though every step had already been rehearsed in his mind 100 times. Until finally, he wipes out almost the entire hidden leaf with a single devastating attack. Then Naruto arrived. The battle is brutal. Giant summons crash into the battlefield. Mountains crumble. The ground splits apart beneath their feet. Everything Naruto throws at Pain, Pain has already prepared an answer for. But after all of that, Naruto does something unexpected. He talks. And this is where I notice something fascinating. Pain listens. Why? Think about it. This wasn't the first time someone had spoken to him about peace. Jiraiya believed in peace. Yahiko believed in peace. Pain had already heard those words years ago. He rejected them. He went on to destroy the hidden leaf anyway. So why did Naruto succeed? Because Naruto wasn't giving Pain information he didn't already know. He was giving him something he had never experienced before. Someone who genuinely understood his suffering. Naruto knew loneliness. He knew rejection. He knew what it felt like to lose someone he loved. For the first time, Pain wasn't speaking to someone looking down on him. He was speaking to someone whose scars looked just like his own. And I think that's the real reason. Pain listened. Not because Naruto had better words, not because Naruto won the fight, but because Naruto had earned the right to be heard. And that's the hidden truth. People don't always change because they hear the truth. Sometimes they change because they finally trust the person telling them the truth. That's why recovered addicts often help struggling addicts better than anyone else. Someone who has lost a massive amount of weight will often inspire overweight people more than someone who has never fought that battle. Parents who have survived unimaginable grief can comfort other grieving parents in ways very few people can. Shared pain creates trust, and then something incredible happens. Pain changes his mind, not because Naruto defeated him, because Naruto gave him something he thought the world had taken away forever. Hope. Pain sacrifices his own life to bring back the people he had killed. Think about that. The man everyone believed was beyond saving was still willing to change. Understanding someone's pain doesn't excuse what they've done. Pain was still responsible for every choice he made. But sometimes, the people who seem the furthest gone aren't waiting for a better argument. They're waiting for someone who truly understands them. That doesn't mean everyone will change, but every now and then, understanding reaches a person that anger never could. What do you guys think?